Good evening. This is CTV News for Wednesday, September 10th. I'm Patricia VILLONE.
And I'm BYRON Scott. More than a dozen adults and 4 children are displaced following a 2-alarm fire in Riverdale this morning. It started at around 11 o'clock this morning and affected 7 units on the 6800 block of Riverdale Road. A spokesperson for the fire department says that it may have started in the boiler room in that building. And all those people, we were told, are safe. They did get out, but they're going to need someplace else to stay tonight.
Calls that it started in the boiler room where there were some workers working on the pipes. Now when they repair those pipes, they use a very hot acetylene torch on those pipes. And apparently the fire started, it appears the fire started there, extended up through the walls and ignited a fire on just about all 3 floors of this apartment building.
Was anyone hurt?
At this point, we have no reports of any injuries. That includes firefighters and civilians.
I came in, I went out, then I came back. I saw the smoke and the plug in the kitchen. Then I called the apartment building to come out and investigate it. Then I guess then they called the fire department. Then the whole living room was filled with the smoke, so I had to run out, open the window. So I didn't know where it was coming from.
Now, investigators are trying to get more information on how the fire started and the extent of damage. They also say the American Red Cross will be called in to help displaced residents. Well, tomorrow marks the anniversary of one of the most tragic events in our nation's history.
And the developments on September 11th, 2001 brought about numerous questions and concerns regarding our own region's emergency call infrastructure. Well,
13 years later, revisions to the aging 911 system are in the works, and CTV's Stephen Grace is here to explain.
Yes, and of course those revisions involve technology, and we'll be having you utilize this more often. Well, it's taught from a young age, and if you're ever in an emergency, call 911. But what happens when you can't get through to a dispatcher in the case of a disaster like that of 9/11? Would texting or sending a video help? Well, today Washington's Council of Governments Board held plans for the next generation 911. The system would incorporate social media and text messaging options for citizens to contact first responders. Parts of the country have already adopted the system, and supporters say they hope it will come to the Washington area.
40,000 times every day someone calls 911. 87 million times a year. It's the most recognized number in the United States of America. It has saved millions of lives and trillions of dollars of property. But it's old, and it doesn't meet the needs of our citizens, including everybody in this room.
The ability to bring in images and videos and the same kind of things that are today a part of our mobile reality, Vine and Snapchat, and you can imagine that applied to an accident, an emergency, an incident, how useful that would be. And if, God forbid, a 911 or 9/11 event ever happened again, we would be in a much better position to reduce loss of life and to triage the incidents with next-gen 911.
Now, studies to determine how much this upgrade will cost are currently underway. There's also no word on how soon we could see the change, but officials are hoping that it'll take about a year. They still have to work out some issues with phone carriers to make sure they all have the text messaging option.
Of course, that anniversary is coming up here, so it's very, you know, pertinent that we have it now.
Right, it is very.
All right, thank you. Well, a plan by the D.C. Fire Department to encrypt its radio channels is meeting great resistance among some local chiefs. Now, the move would mean only those with direct access to the system can listen in. Officials in Montgomery, Arlington, and Prince George's are concerned that the policy would disrupt interoperability in the Washington metro area. County Chief Mark Bashore says public safety communications have drastically improved post 9/11.
Today, every jurisdiction in the National Capital Region is on the same radio platform. So we're all able to talk to each other without having to have manual patches and all those different things done that used to have to occur. Literally, I can drive my vehicle across into the District of Columbia, switch over to their channel, and talk directly to them without having to have any relay. So that definitely has improved.
Short says the loss of cross-jurisdictional platform could threaten both public safety and that of fire personnel.
In the police department, I understand the need for it. I understand wanting to have that. The fire departments, we're not an advocate of encryption. There are some other jurisdictions that are trying to encrypt their radio systems, and it's going to create a situation where we can't talk to them, and we're going to be right back where we were before 9/11 if those folks continue down that path.
Montgomery County Fire and Rescue tells WTTG Fox 5 that if D.C. goes through with its encryption plan, the county may not provide mutual aid to the district at all. CTV News will have more on post-9/11 public safety with Chief Bashor tomorrow evening.
And police in Montgomery County continue to search for a mother and her 2 children. Detectives have released this surveillance video taken on Monday afternoon. It shows 27-year-old Catherine Hoggle, who suffers from schizophrenia, in a Germantown restaurant. Police say it was taken just before the children's father reported the kids missing. Now, the kids are 3-year-old Sarah and her brother, 2-year-old Jacob. Investigators say Hoggle was also spotted at a Harris Teeter on Darnestown Road on Sunday afternoon, and they say she was caught on surveillance video at about 4:40 yesterday morning in the Germantown area. Authorities are expected to charge the mother. Anyone with any information is asked to call police.
President Obama plans to address the nation tonight with his plans to defeat Islamic State militants. It's expected that he'll outline an expanded military and political effort to combat ISIS in Syria and Iraq. Obama also wants Congress to quickly give him authority to arm moderate Syrian opposition forces fighting President Bashar Assad. Administration officials say the president will carry out other elements of his plan without formal authorization from lawmakers, including airstrikes in Iraq and possibly Syria. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Villone.
And I'm Byron Scott. Up